Welcome to Talkin' Mets with Rob. Subscribe to the channel for all your New York Mets in-game live, pre-game, post-game, roundtable podcast, and all the breaking news for our New York Mets. Enjoy the show and let's go Mets.
City lights in the dead of night, full of echo. Concrete jungle, dreams bust to grow. Mets in the air, chase glory, no fear. Broken backs, but hearts steer clear. OMG, the chaos, what a scene. Streets buzzing like a machine. Grimace from the shadows, chills on my spine. Past haunts, the future shine. Comebacks in the night, keep dreams alive. Fighting tooth and nail just to survive. City's heartbeat echoes in our chant. Grit and glory is all we want. Brooklyn to Queens, hear the roar. From laughter to blood in every scar.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the Mets PostGame Show right here on the channel and on X. How is everybody doing today? How are you doing tonight? Because our New York Mets are still alive in the NLCS. What a relentless ball game by the New York Mets offense. They continued to put pressure on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Jack Flaherty had no answers for the Mets bats tonight. And the Mets continued. Every time the Dodgers were getting that momentum, the Mets came right back with a couple of more runs. Excellent job today by the Mets offense. And we'll get all into this game, guys. And obviously, we'll preview Game 6 on Sunday. But before we get to anything, Pete Alonso with a 3-run bomb to get things started for the New York Mets in the bottom of the first inning, put up a 3 spot right away, get in the lead. My, oh my, how better is it when you're working with a lead? The New York Mets, excellent performance today. This was again, guys, this is what I continue to say about this team. This team has still undefeated in an elimination game. Again, understandable. There's a long way to go, but you got to play it one game at a time. This was a very good game. And remember, this is Jack Flaherty. This is basically the guy who they basically trust the most. And again, we saw him the second time around. He had no answer for the New York Mets today. He could not get that out. And the Mets did their job, ladies and gentlemen. What a performance tonight. Everybody was feeling down. Nobody was really giving his team a chance. Not a lot of us. But they showed once again how resilient they can be. Again, is this still me saying that they can win the series? No, I'm not going to blatantly say that. That is still not fair to the Dodgers. But they were able to stave off elimination for at least one more game. And that's all you got to do, right? Take it one game at a time. You were able to get Sean Manaea, your ace, in another game. Now the Dodgers are going to be using their bullpen for Game 6. Not saying that that's a recipe for a win, because obviously they're going to go high leverage guys throughout the entire game. But I'm feeling confident going into that game with Sean Manaea on the mound and the Dodger bullpen, because if the Dodgers find a way to lose Game 6 with all the high leverage bullpen arms they're going to use in Game 6, they're putting all their money in Walker Buehler, who probably can't go more than 5 innings. So no way am I saying that this series if the Mets can win the series. I'm not saying that yet, but they stayed alive a hell of a lot more than what most people believed, and they did their job. They did their job today. They limit the mistakes, right? I know right away Marte made that error in the outfield, and you're like, oh God, second and third, nobody out. Here's a mistake in the first inning. But Peterson bared down, got out of it with nothing, and then the Alonso 3-run homer. What about another guy, Starlin Marte? This guy is a freaking hitting machine. He also had 3 RBIs tonight. The doubles machine in this game today. What a performance by Marte. And look at the difference, guys, in the Winker at-bats. Even when he doesn't get a hit, he works counts. No problem taking a walk. But even putting the bat on the ball, putting the fear of God in these pitchers. Jeff McNeil had great at-bats today. Couple of RBIs for him with a couple of sac flies. Right? Why would you change anything up in Game 6? I would bring out the same lineup. 100% the same lineup. Excellent performance by the Mets. Excellent. And you know what? This has been the weirdest postseason series. And I know they put up a stat where this is the first time in postseason history that teams have scored 6+ runs in a game. Like every game basically has been like one team scoring a hell of a lot and just dominating the game. Like it's crazy. It's amazing. It really is. Like it's a weird series. Like it seems like whoever jumps out first is going to look like they're going to win the game. It's the way it's been this whole series. And again, we see the Mets can score runs. We know they can. And again, there isn't a Dodger fan that might be in this chat or might not be in this chat. Going into Game 6, yeah, you're going to have your bullpen high leverage guys, but it only takes one bullpen arm to really mess up Dave Roberts' plan right away. You saw what happened with Dave Roberts, right? Now that was an excellent job by Honeywell. I know we gave up a couple of runs, but he saved your bullpen because if he was getting lit up and he was just continuing to throw more and more pitches, he might have had to go to the pen much, much earlier. But that was a really good job by Honeywell, even though we gave up a couple of runs. Roberts really didn't have a choice. He had to. You can't have a bullpen game in Game 6 and use 3 or 4 of your high leverage guys. So, and again, man, so much fun watching this team do what they do. Again, we count them out, right? They were pronounced dead once again yesterday, and they showed up. Everybody showed up today. Peterson, even though he pitched 3 2/3, right? He got out of that jam in the first, right? Struggled a little bit after that Page home run, but did what he had to do. And what about Ryan Stanek? 2 1/3. That guy is just badass, man. What a gutsy performance by Stanek. I don't remember the last time he went 2 1/3 innings. He didn't do it with the Mets. Great performance by Stanek. Basically, I know that when the starter doesn't go, is in line for a win because he didn't pitch enough innings, it's kind of up to the official scorer of who's going to get the win on the Mets side. I gave it to Ryan Stanek. I think coming in that middle of the game and pitching 2 1/3 innings, I think that was outstanding. Shutting them down in the 7th, and then Diaz with 2 innings. And what about Diaz? Coming out, throwing fastballs, didn't play. He threw a couple of sliders, but he was ahead in the count. I have no problem you doing that. But pounding the zone with fastballs. And again, guys, what have I been saying all series? The Mets get hurt by their breaking ball pitches. Look how many times the Dodgers were late on fastballs, fouling fastballs off, popping fastballs up in the air. They couldn't get to anybody's fastball. The 92-93 that Peterson was throwing, even Reed Garrett, they couldn't, even though he gave up a big home run to give up a home run there. right? They still couldn't hit his fastball. He got hurt on his sweeper. Continuing to pound the fastball. The fastball is the key to the series for the Mets pitching. The Dodgers have a hard time. They're hitting 357 on breaking pitches. They're hitting 240, which is not terrible, actually. It's a little bit above average in the league on fastballs, but they destroy breaking balls. They have a hard time hitting the fastball. But what a game. And you know what? Let's give a little credit to Francisco Alvarez, man. He finally didn't try to do too much. I mean, he was 3 for 4, 1 RBI. Sorry, excuse me. One RBI. Good performance, right? A couple of hits by him, and he didn't try to do too much, right? Flick the ball to right field. Get the ball in the hole. Very good performance. Very good performance by Alvarez. Love to see it. That's what we needed from him. We needed him to come alive. It makes that lineup a hell of a lot more harder to get through. And look, everybody did their job today, right? Jeff Benito came in, got 2 RBIs on 2 sac flies. You got Winker with an RBI. You got obviously Alonso with 3 RBIs, Lindor with an RBI, Nimmo with an RBI, Alvarez with an RBI. Everybody did their job today. Everybody, right? Vientos was the only one that really didn't have a good game. I mean, I think he deserves a game like this. And we scored 12 runs without Vientos doing anything. So that's a good sign for this Mets offense, right? You get the day off tomorrow. You get the, rest your bullpen a little bit. And you got your ace on the mound in Game 6 while the Dodgers have a bullpen game, right? We know how good the Dodger bullpen can be. But again, I said you saw it in Game 2. It takes one pitcher to not have it. And then the Dodgers can become in trouble with the Dave Roberts decisions in game and using a ton of bullpen in Game 6. You got to get to the first guy. First 1 or 2 guys out of the pen for Dave Roberts that he has as a plan. That's the goal right there. You need Sean Manaea to come up big once again. So the Mets prevailed, got to a Game 6. Sean Manaea on the mound against the bullpen game of the Dodgers. 3-2, the Dodgers are up. The performance that, I couldn't have predicted an offensive craziness like this from the New York Mets. I felt like they were going to play really good today. I felt that. Now, I didn't know if it was going to be enough to win, but they did even more than I expected today. Right? Yes, the Dodgers scored 6 runs, but again, when you have big leads, you got to throw pitches over the plate, and the pitchers got burned over a couple of pitches. Right? If it wasn't Page, they would have like 2 runs today. Right? That was an excellent, really good performance by the young kid. But the Mets did their job. The bullpen did their job. And you're heading back to LA on Sunday for Game 6. Exactly what you needed, right? I said it in the pregame. The hardest game to win. When you hear any player in professional sports, they always talk about the clincher is the hardest game to win. Not because, they get nervous or they get a little worried. No. It's just that you're facing a desperate team that needs to win or they're done. Right? The Dodgers started to make little mistakes. And it cost them. And the Mets were relentless today offensively. And every time the Dodgers got a couple of runs, it seemed like the Mets came right back in the next inning or the inning following and got a run or two and kind of put any momentum, back in the closet. And that was the game right there. Ryan Stanek, player of the game for me, right? You can give it to 5 guys on the offense today, but I'm going to give it to Ryan Stanek because that 2 1/3 inning, if he only went an inning in the third, you would have had to use a Danny Young. You might have had to go to Kodai Senga. And he didn't do that. So an excellent job by Ryan Stanek. The New York Mets did their job. They staved off the elimination game for one night, one game, and now we're heading back to California to LA on Sunday. So bring out the comments, guys. And for Chris, who is not here, Span those W's in the comments, guys. Good job by the New York Mets. Span those W's. Let's go. Jonathan, thank you for the super chat. We are better with Winker in the lineup. I agree with that. I'm not worried about signing him yet, but he just makes the lineup more relentless. It's hard to get through the lineup with Winker. He's put good at bats in the Philly series. He put good at bats in the Brewers series, and Mendoza did a terrible job in Game 3 and 4. I thought it was just over managing for no reason, when it was a very obvious choice. It's not like there was a tough left-hander on the mound where I could say, okay, give JD a chance for one game. You see what happens when Winker is in the middle of this lineup. It just lengthens it. And if Alvarez can pick up like he did and finally figure it out and continue this, now you have a lineup that is not easy to get through now, because the bottom of the order for the Mets was struggling really badly. And they're doing the job today, and that's a good sign. All right, let's just check the comments, guys. Make sure you hit on that like button, guys. Greg, you gonna put on that Mets hat? Yeah, I mean, we're all happy for Alvy. We killed Alvarez, and he rightly deserved. But man, he needed a game like this. Ken, absolutely. Alvy, Alonso, Diaz getting hot. Look, Alonso has had good at bats this whole series, right? I know the results weren't there. I know somebody's like, oh, we had 3 hits, but he put better at bats together. Even though the results weren't mostly there, he wasn't swinging and flailing at every slider on the outside corner. He was doing his job at working the counts, putting better at bats together. And look at the ball he hit. That was a good pitch by Flaherty. But you know what? Alonso was looking for that slider, and he crushed it to center field. All right. Ray says, Marte, yeah. Yeah, Junior, absolutely. And listen, there's nobody on the mound you want than Sean Manaea going in Game 6. But, right, that's not an automatic win for us. We all know that, right? We're not stupid enough to think that. But there's nobody else you want, right? He pitched extremely well in Game 2. Extremely well, right? We need another performance like that, if not better. I'm really glad that we have a day off to rest our bullpen, because what you want out of Sean Manaea is at least 6th inning, right? Maybe you can get 5 2/3, but you really want that 6th inning. That 6th inning, now you probably only have to go to maybe 3-4 relievers, hopefully. And you got to get out to a lead early, right? Put the pressure back on the Dodgers, right? You put the pressure on the Dodgers. Again, what have I talked about? With the teams that we faced in this playoffs, the Brewers, who have constantly blew games in the playoffs, constantly choked in the playoffs, basically in their last 5-6 years. The Phillies, back-to-back years, losing the World Series, losing both games at home in the NLCS when they were up 3 games to 2. And that starts trickling back into these teams' minds and players' minds. It's a very similar team with the Dodgers. Obviously, a couple of new guys, obviously Ohtani and all that. But there's a lot of guys. There's a manager that the Dodger fans don't trust, right? That's going to start creeping back into the fans' minds, the players' minds, right? Because that's a team history. That's not an individual history, right? You can change a lot of the players, but the history is still there. Right, this is a Dodger team that has choked many times in the postseason, and it's not out of the realm of possibility. Again, the Mets have a ton of work to do. Right, it's not going to be easy by any means. But I tell you, you jump out early in Game 6, it's going to start to creep up in their minds. Right, this game, I wouldn't say it creeped up in their minds, just that the Mets jumped on them. Jack Flaherty had nothing. And the Mets continued to just put on runs. It seemed like every time Dodgers had momentum, you just kept on putting on the runs. And that's what you had to do. And that's a good job by the Mets. Good job by Mendoza finally realizing in a desperate situation to put the guys that you should have put in Game 3 and even possibly Game 4, right? He right the wrong today. I would be shocked if you see anybody else in the lineup except the lineup you see today. Now, maybe Iglesias over McNeil, maybe, But maybe he might go right back to McNeil. I have no problem with that. You know, there's a pretty good chance that Iglesias is going to get a pinch hitter spot anyway in Game 6, considering that they're going to be doing a bullpen game. So we'll see. Again, all they had to do was win one game. They won one game, you get the Game 6. And then Game 6 will be one game. One pitch, one inning, one game. That's how you have to play it. The Mets played that exactly to a cue today, and they did their job. All right, let's continue to look at the comments. The Marte Parte, that's what I'm talking about. Greg, yeah, I mean, you can expect a big game from Ohtani in Game 6, but, I mean, you could have expected him in this game too, right? But, you know, he didn't. Again, they're going back home, right? That's always worrisome. Ken, you can worry about the Yankees. I'll leave that to you today. Yeah, Ray, I don't think JD's playing. I'm pretty sure about that. Well, Mr. Nobody, I'm not going to say, you know, once you break their confidence, I don't think this was a confidence breaker for the Dodgers, right? This was the game that was, you know, this was a game where, you know, you win, great. You get time off. You're in the World Series. If you lose, you're going back home for 2, or at least 1. So it wasn't like a breaker of confidence in this game, but Game 6 could be that. Game 6 can definitely be that. Sanders, to your lips, to God's ears. Agreed, around 100%. He was challenging these guys, right? Yeah, he gave up, let me just double check, right? He did. Yeah, he gave up the home run, but he challenged the guy, and that's fine, right? You got to challenge guys. You know what? Peterson did that too, but, I think Peterson, he used a hell of a lot of energy, and that's why, good job by Mendoza taking him out when he did. Garrett wasn't great, but he got that one big out that needed. Yeah, that's what it is, right? You got to challenge these guys. These guys have a hard time hitting the fastball. It's been all series. Again, they're hitting well above 300 against the breaking ball and just under 250 against the fastball. They have a hard time hitting the fastball. All series, they've been late. They've been swinging and missing. They've been popping it up. I think 2 of the home runs that the Dodgers hit in this series were on fastballs. Every one of them were on breaking balls. You got to challenge it. You got to challenge it. All right, guys, still continuing to look at the comments. What do we got here? And exactly my point. That's why when you got nobody on base, you got to challenge him. He hits a solo home run. Even if it makes it a tie game, it's not a big blow to you. Right? That Page 3-run homer was like, uh-oh. That's what you need to avoid. But the solo home runs don't hurt. And that's why you got to challenge these guys. All right, guys, still looking at the comments. Make sure you hit on that like button, guys. Agreed, Junior. We are still walking too many guys. Again, it didn't burn us a lot, but it burned us a little bit today. Again, the Mets offense made sure it didn't get any closer than it needed to. But yeah, we're still walking a lot of guys, and I don't know if you can really clean that up at this point. You're 5 games in, going into Game 6, right? So, you hope Mania just, does what he does and just make sure you don't walk people, right? That's how you get into trouble, right? That's how the Dodgers got into trouble today. They started to walk guys, and the Mets made them pay. All right, continuing to look at the comments, guys. I see Span and no W's. I like it. And I know I'm way behind in the comments. I'm trying to catch up to all you guys. Junior, yeah, again, CP's on travel. I know we had a lot of things going on. And again, I saw him tweeting on X and all that, posted on X and all that cool stuff. Again, he would love to be here, right? This is not a decision that he's like, who cares? It's only the NLCS. Come on. We know Chris. We know Chris is pumping his fist for this Mets win today, right? Maybe I think he'll be here for Game 6 for the pregame and post. We'll see. If not, I'll have you covered. But, Chris is obviously here. He's my co-host. He's our co-host, right? We do this together. This is a team effort, just like the Mets. Team effort. It's how we get things done here. How we get things done here. But what a performance by the New York Mets. What a job by the offense. What a job by Stanek. What a job by Diaz. What a job by Peterson for 3 2/3. He did his job. He got the lead and he held it. And the rest was history in this game. The Mets continue to put the pressure on, man. Continue there. That was the key to this game, right? You know, they could have got a little lackadaisical after like 6, 7 runs. I mean, like, okay, over. No, keep on pounding. Put the pressure on. Exactly what they did and exactly what they needed to do. Continuing to look at the comments. Envy said Winker's better than JD. Oh, yeah, absolutely. At this point, JD should never see another start. Like, again, depending on the situation, you might need him in a pinch hit situation, you know, because, again, Winker has a really rough time against lefties. If there's a spot in the game where Ben comes in, maybe you do that, or maybe you throw Acuna in there or something like that. But, yeah, I agree. Winker's getting the next start, 100%. Well, Ken, you know what I've seen from Mendoza, like the last 2 games, is not necessarily yesterday. Game 3 was the annoying part. But he seems to learn. He seems to learn from the mistakes. He learned today based on desperation, right? I'm not going to say that's a learning situation, but hopefully this was an eye-opener for him and saying, all right, I'm not fucking with the lineup anymore, right? You know, would I be mad if you go to Iglesias over McNeil? No. I'd like to see McNeil in the game. Iglesias will get a pinch hit spot in game 6, most likely. So I'd go out with the same lineup tomorrow. They scored 12 runs. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? I mean, that's what you got to do there. Easy says Garrett has to stop nibbling. I agree. I do agree with that. You know, getting that big out in that inning, in what, the 3rd inning was huge, but he came back out. You know, he started the Walker guy, got a little, you know, and then he do that fucking sweeper. Jeez, Garrett, you got that splitter and you got that fastball. Don't throw your sweeper. Page speeded up his bat in that. Oh my, killing me. But again, it wasn't enough to do the job, but that was a good job. It all around. At some point in an inning, each pitcher did their job. Yeah, JB, these games are crazy. Like, you know, they put up the stat on Fox. There's no. Every game basically is a blowout. Like, I know game 2 is technically not really, but you know, when you score 7 runs, it's kind of like, you know, like every game. Look, every team that went out to a lead won the game. Right? This hasn't been a back and forth really at all. It's been domination by a team. Yeah, right. Well, what was he doing? He threw 4 sliders. He was pounding his own with fastballs. And that's what he needs to do, right? Your slider, when you're in a pitcher's count, that's when you try to throw that slider a little bit to try to just change their eye angle, you know, make them see something different, and then pound those on with the fastball again. They can't hit the fastball, guys. This has been 5 games now. 5 games. They destroy breaking balls, guys. The fastball has been a huge problem for the Dodgers in this series. They can't square it up. Even the 92, 93. Look at Quintana yesterday. They weren't hitting his fastball, even though it was 90 to 92. He was getting burned off his changeup and his slider, leaving those pitches up. Look at Peterson today. He was throwing 92 to 94. They still couldn't touch it. They have a hard time with the fastball. Every one of them have an uppercut swing. Look at Ohtani against Stanek. You keep it a little off the plate, a little out on the outside corner, up. Unless he's looking for that and going the other way, he can't hit that either. He can, but he had trouble with it. He has trouble with this whole series. Even though Ohtani's been damn good, he's had trouble. So good job by the New York Mets. Good job by the pitching. And, some of them did get in trouble. But when they got in trouble, they went right back to their fastball, and it did the job. And that's what the bullpen needed to do. That's what Peterson needed to do. He went after them. Let them earn their way on. Right? The walks have been a problem this whole series, right? What is it, 35 walks in this series? Like, that's insane. Like, if the Mets pull a rabbit out of their hat and find a way to win this series, again, by no means am I saying that, but if they do, this would be the biggest choke job from the Dodgers in recent history with them. Because there's a pretty good chance that the walks are going to get to probably 40. Like, they're only 5 away, right? You hope that doesn't happen with the Mets, but I mean, they haven't really shown you that they can do it. But the Mets got to do what they did today, right? You're not going to have the home field advantage, right? You're not going to have the final at bat. But you got, again, it's a bullpen game for the Dodgers. Your ace is on the mound. The key for the Mets here, don't make it easy for Dave Roberts. He will make a mistake. He's itchy. His ass is itching from sitting so much. Make a decision. Do not let his plan easy. Let him deviate from the plan. That's when there's problems. You know he's going to go to the high leverage relievers for the majority of the game, if not all. If they're down, you know they're going to try to do everything they can to keep that deficit to what it is. But make him make moves. Don't make him set up, okay, this guy's going 2 innings, this guy's going 1, this guy's going 3. Don't let him do that. Make him fish for those innings. Make him fish for those arms to finish innings. Make it damn hard for him to make that decision. Right? Not overly confident. One, that's not fair to the Dodgers, who played extremely well in this series. But again, they've won 3 games by blowouts, and we won 2 games by blowouts. Right? It's kind of been, kind of lopsided wins for each teams in this entire series. Right? I mean, would anybody be shocked if Game 6 is a close game? I mean, that would be interesting. I mean, I'd have a heart attack, but, it seemed like one of these games, obviously there's only one more game right now for the New York Mets and the Dodgers at this point, but you just feel like if this does go 7, either Game 6 or Game 7 is going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. So we'll see. But, man, this was fun. This was fun today because this is what you wanted to see. But then again, how many more times does this team have to do this for the Mets fans to believe? And I want to give a very good clap to Mets fans, because it's not easy to cheer what you see in the first 2 games at Citi Field. They were damn loud every game. Even down by 5 runs yesterday, 7 runs yesterday, they were still going loud, going crazy. Today, they were just, this might have been the loudest before the game. Yeah, the Temptations singing behind home plate before the game started with Lindor. When Lindor was coming up, that was pretty cool. I know some people got on the Mets. Oh, how can you do that? You're down 3-1. Obviously, this was planned. This was planned probably before the series. Once the Mets clinched the NLDS to go to the NLCS, this was already planned. So, I'm so happy for this team because they deserve to take this series back to LA. They didn't deserve it in this series because of the way they played, but they finally played a well-rounded game today. They made very minimal mistakes. Basically, it was very little, and they capitalized on every mistake the Dodgers made. It was a team effort win today. Just like I talked about in the last couple of games, it was a team effort loss. This was a team effort today. Started from the manager all the way to the offense and to the pitching. A very good effort from the New York Mets. I'm trying not to lose my voice because I got the flu. Like I feel like crap the last 2 days. I'm trying like I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm sweating. It's crazy. And trying to watch a postseason game sick, it's not fun. So I'm like running on fumes right now, guys. But you know, the Mets are giving me the energy. You guys are giving me the energy. Again, I hope I have a voice. Like tomorrow's a rest day. I might do a show tomorrow, but I don't know how I'm gonna feel. Like I feel like crap. But it is what it is, right? Where it's playoff baseball, right? Suck it up for all of us, right? It's not easy. You know, I'm losing my voice for cheering so much. I might have jumped out of my seat like 10 times today. Like it's crazy. Insane. Like postseason baseball is beautiful, but it could be, it's just excruciating. It's just nuts. Every pitch, every at bat, it's just insane. All right, let's check the comments one more time, guys. I'm gonna go another couple of minutes. Because man, I'm exhausted, guys. I'm not gonna lie. With the flu that I got and the games constantly 3 games in a row, like my body's taking a toll, man. I tell you. Yeah, easy. I don't think they had a strikeout today in this game, the Mets. Right? No batter struck out today. If I'm not mistaken. Let me just check the box score real quick. Yeah, they had no strikeouts today. But yeah, we gotta limit the walks. Oh, Ken, I mentioned Peterson in the first inning. Maybe you didn't hear, but I did. Yeah. Getting out of the jam, second and third, nobody out when Marte made that error in right field. That was badass. Now, that was a base running mistake by Ohtani. Nobody wants to, I know they barely talk. I know Dave Roberts kind of called Ohtani out. And by the way, good job by Dave Roberts calling out Ohtani because it seems like Fox don't want to do it. Right? Not running on contact there when the Mets were playing back up the middle. So that was a contact play. So I don't know what Ohtani was doing. But I mean, good job by Peterson, got the ground ball, right? Did his job, got out of that inning, and it led to the 3-run homer from Pete Alonso at the bottom of the first. Hell yeah. Hell freaking yeah. That was huge. And we all said it, right? Me and Ken were messaging back and forth the entire game like we always do. Right? Me and Ken get on each other all the time, not just on the chat, but in our messaging too. But we were talking about it, right? That was huge. That just because Peterson went 3 2/3, you could say that was the inning where we needed that. We needed to put up a 0, even though they scored a run in the top of the first. Right away, top of the second. Excuse me. Right away, Peter. In the top of the second, you were up 3-0 at the point. You're up 3-1. All right, you gave up a run. Is what it is. But you had a lead. There was margin for error. How many times have I said that in these shows? Give your pitcher a lead so he has a margin of error. He can make a mistake and it ain't like, oh shit, here we go, we're trailing again. You were up 3-0. He challenged guys and they got a run, right? But you still had the lead. And that is the game, right? It's not about how many innings. Keep the lead. And he did the job. And that first inning, I think, in my opinion, a lot of you might agree, led to what the Mets did. It brought the energy in the crowd. It clearly helped the offense of the Mets feeling good, finally putting up a 0 in the first. After what happened, after the base hit and then the error by Marte making second, third, nobody out, that's a huge momentum swing right there. And it started everything for the New York Mets. All right, guys, so we're going to edit in just a second. I want to say it one more time, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. I might do a show tomorrow depending on how I feel. I'm not really feeling good right now, man. I'm not going to lie. Like, today's been a terrible day health-wise. I thought I was okay, but I woke up and I'm like, uh-oh. So make sure you hit that like button, guys. If I'm feeling better tomorrow, I might do a show around 5 o'clock or so. Mets Talk Live. Maybe if Chris is available, I'll have him on too, so we can talk about the last couple of games that he wasn't available for pre and post. So we make sure we get that in, hopefully. But make sure, guys, to enjoy the day off, right? The Mets gave you another game. They did their job. One pitch, one inning, one game. We did that in game 5. Tremendous effort all around by the pitching. Tremendous effort by the offense today, doing their job. Stanek, damn good job, two in the third. Diaz with 2 innings. Peterson getting out of that first inning. Alvarez finally coming through. Lindor with good at bats. You had Alonso with the big home run in the first inning. Marte a double machine with 3 RBIs. Outstanding game all around. Great team effort. Winning game 5, taking this series back to California for a game 6. You got Sean Manaea on the mound for our New York Mets and a bullpen game for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Mets win 12-6 in game 5. Take it back to California on Sunday. Guys, it was a good game. Great job by using pre and post in the chat as always. I'll see you hopefully tomorrow for a show to recap the games at home and preview game 6. With that said, guys, have a great night. Thank you for tuning in to the Mets post-game show right here on the channel and on X. Have a good night, guys. Enjoy the off day. Let's go, Mets. And we'll see you for game 6 in Cali, guys. Have a good night, and let's go, Mets.
Welcome to Talkin' Mets with Rob. Subscribe to the channel for all your New York Mets in-game live, pre-game, post-game, round-table podcast, and all the breaking news for our New York Mets. Enjoy the show and let's go Mets.
In the dead of night, full of echo. Concrete jungle, dreams bust to grow. Mets in the air, chase glory, no fear. Broken backs, but hearts steer clear. OMG, the chaos, what a scene. Streets buzzing like a machine. Grimace from the shadows, chills on my spine. Past haunts, the future shine.